We ordered this conversion kit from Rob Mix Services and E85carbs.com. Now, because E85 burns faster, more fuel has to flow through the carburetor. So all the little pieces in this kit were designed with that mission in mind, like larger jets, needle and seat, power valve, and billet metering blocks. The first thing you want to do is remove the bowls and metering blocks from your carb. If you have jet extensions on the secondary block, which we don't, go ahead and remove them so you can reuse them. Otherwise, the entire block is history. Next, remove the 4 screws that hold the accelerator pump. Carefully peel the old diaphragm off and keep the spring. Making sure the mating surface is clean, install the new diaphragm using the spring from your old pump and tighten the screws in a cross pattern. I replaced the diaphragms in our carburetor because they came new in the kit, but here's something to check out. The new diaphragm is made up of a GFLT alcohol-resistant rubber. Now, if you have an older style carburetor, you could have a black rubber diaphragm like this, which the alcohol will eat right through. And you don't even need to take it apart to find it. All you need to do is look at the gasket overhang. Now, even though it's hard to tell, the new needle and seat is a little larger. Now, remove the rubber gasket and replace it with a nylon one. Reinstall the needle and seat and the lockdown screw, which also gets a nylon. After following the same steps on the other fuel bowl, you're ready to convert the metering block over to E85, which only involves 4 steps, and the first one is installing the power valve. The new jets are next, and you can actually see how much larger they are than the stock. Try to use a jet tool to install the jet. If you use a flat blade screwdriver, you can actually damage it. We need to change the idle restrictors to larger ones from the kit and change the position of the emulsion programming plugs since the block was set up for gasoline. Remove the stock shooters and replace them with the higher flowing ones from the kit. Now you can reinstall the metering blocks and the fuel bowl back onto the main body. Now with the fuel bowl, make sure the actuator arm is above the pump lever. The carburetor's done, but you're not. To complete this conversion in your vehicle, you may need to make some modifications to your fuel system, like having a pump that's compatible with the E85 and can flow up to 30% more fuel. Plus, the lines need to be either stainless steel or rubber with a liner that's compatible with the E85. After setting the floats, they recommend setting the idle adjustment screws 1.5 turns off the seated position. You ready?
Hit it!
The motor not only fired right up, it ran noticeably cooler and surprisingly required no tuning before our first full run.
Working better?
Pretty good.
After giving the motor a total of 5 degrees more timing, we were making 12 foot-pounds of torque and almost 18 horsepower more than we made with gasoline.
477 over 459. Pretty impressive.
Here's a graph that compares E85 with the solid lines to gasoline with the broken lines. Green is torque, white's horsepower, and notice how those power curves are identical except for the performance gains with E85. And down here, this is fuel consumption, and, well, as expected, we consumed about 24% more with our E85.
Yeah, a little bit of water.
Yeah,
Pour her in.
Our kit from E85carbs.com set us back $295, and they've got kits for any size carb. Got to point out that E85 absorbs water quickly, so it's only recommended for vehicles that are driven on a regular basis. Modifying a fuel-injected engine is a little more difficult. There's a few extra steps, and you have to get the computer recalibrated. Oh, one more thing. When we went to get our E85 fuel today, it was less than half the cost of regular gas at 86 cents a gallon.